Welcome to the Kiln Garage. We're your hosts, Katie
and Rebecca.
We are ceramicists and clay educators.
Together, we'll explore the intersections of clay, art, and community.
Each week, we'll unpack stories of creative expression, shared spaces, and the role of clay in building meaningful connections.
We're so happy you're here. Hi.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Kiln Garage.
Today, we're going to talk about maintaining a studio.
Yeah. What is it? What do you gotta do to run a pottery studio? And this isn't just for, larger studios, but like at home studios. Like there's a lot of local potters that have studios at their home.
Yeah.
And I think, especially like when I was starting out, I was like, what do I do? What's the most important thing about having a home studio or a studio in general?
Yeah.
And I think that's an important topic to cover.
It's so important.
It's very important.
It's very important. Well, I think the most important thing is cleaning, personally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Silica dust.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. So, technically, I get a lot of questions from like, we have a couple of younger students at the studio, like teens, and they all are like, I want to work here. When can I work here? When I turn 14, when I turn 16? And so I did a little bit of research, and actually, because we technically work with hazardous chemicals, you have to be 18 to work here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So technically, the clay is hazardous because of the silica dust. Yeah, silicosis
So
is
scary.
very scary. When the clay dust, when it's in its dust form, it can get inside your lungs and cause some really bad long-term, lifelong issues. So because of that, we have to wet clean everything. You never sweep in the studio, no sweeping. That's a big rule. And, wipe down everything with a wet sponge.
Yeah. I mean, for silicosis, I just Googled it real fast so
Yeah.
we can talk about what it is, really.
Yes.
But it is when you're inhaling dust and things like that over a long period of time. But it's inflammation and scarring of the
Yikes.
lung tissues
Yikes.
and all of the little tiny filters in your
Yeah.
lungs. And it's inflammation that cannot be reversed.
It's very scary.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for everyone to, especially if you're getting into pottery or ceramics or attending a studio in general, you should really practice these, wet cleaning procedures so that you can keep yourself protected from silica dust.
Yeah.
And that's why we are so anal about it.
Yeah.
Is
We have to be.
because we have to be. And so I think, sometimes students leave their wheels and their surfaces a mess.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail, because it's not good, you guys. We're not just being hard on you guys because we want it to be clean in here, because we do, but also it's a safety issue.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think so. Another reason why I hate crusty tools.
Yes.
Scary.
Crusty tools are scary.
They're really scary
And
because they get crusty in the little crevices, and that's just dust.
right. And that's another reason why, no sanding.
No sanding.
And if you have to sand,
Wet sand.
wet sanding.
Wet sanding only.
Yeah.
Please.
A lot of people are like, oh, can I just sand this off real quick? And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to others. It's not nice.
Mm-hmm. It's not nice.
It's not. No sanding in the studio. And, when your pieces are bone dry.
Yeah.
A lot of students want to trim them dry.
Yeah, I don't let that happen.
It's bad.
Yesterday, I was like, I don't think that's trimmable anymore.
Yeah, I tell them just sponge it down, give it a nice little buff with the sponge, but
Yeah.
the minute you start trimming something that's bone dry,
Hmm.
you're just creating little dust particles and they're getting all up in your lungs and you don't want that.
It freaks me out. It's so
It
scary.
is very scary. Um, but
But we
I
do keep it really clean in here. And yeah, I know a lot of people also, even when they're wet sanding, they'll still wear a mask,
mm-hmm.
you know?
And that's something that, you can do. If you want to be extra, extra careful, you can wear a mask at our
Mhm.
studio and at any studio that you're attending.
Yeah.
Um, and, if you are in the market for a studio, like you're looking to join a studio, that's like the number one thing you should be looking at is like, how are they keeping it clean
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
how are
what their
they
policies
reducing the
are.
dust?
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, so should we share how we clean the studio?
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, it's all wet on wet, but I mean, the process of what we do is we wipe down the surfaces with a wet sponge, get everything down onto the floor, and then we vacuum.
Hmm.
We vacuum and we get as much of the dust as we can and the bits of clay that we can. I mean, bigger chunks we just pick up, but
Yeah.
like there is no sweeping. No sweeping of any kind.
And it's important to find, if you are vacuuming the studio, to find a vacuum that doesn't have a kickback,
Yes.
because a lot of vacuums do.
Remember that shop vac?
Yeah, that was
That was
bad.
so bad.
That was
We would
so
have been
bad.
dead in 3 months if we kept doing that. Like, for
The
real.
If you have a shop vac at your studio, it's probably got a kickback on it where it blows air out, and that's just not good. It's
It's real bad.
it's blowing around all the clay dust in the air.
So we have a really good vacuum now. Or
Yes.
I guess we need to look at it again. 'Cause
Yeah, we do. We have like an industrial vacuum. It's like an old school like bag vacuum. So like there's no like exhaust. It just sucks everything up.
yeah, and also because it's bagged, everything goes into the bag for easy disposal instead of these bagless vacuums.
Mm-hmm.
Because we started off with one of those, and
It was bad.
it's like you open it up and it's like
Yeah.
it's like really bad. So, and we always do that outside also.
Yes.
But then after we vacuum, we do like a double mop.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the new thing to mop twice.
Yeah, the first pass with the mop is just getting up like, you know, the clay splatter on the floor and the residual clay dust that the vacuum didn't get, and really like cleaning the floor. And then the second pass of the mop is the like, all right, now we're making it look pretty and
Yeah.
nice.
It's the sparkle
Yeah, sparkle five
sparkle
pass.
5 pass.
Love it.
Yeah, that's the floors at least,
Yeah,
you know,
and the surfaces.
and surfaces, yeah. And that's like the bulk of it, really.
Hmm.
And then our students are really encouraged to keep their shelves clean. We have wire shelves too,
Hmm.
which I think helps a lot. You know, it's not a solid wooden shelf or anything like that. Like so, but
Yeah, so students in our studio, they put their work on like wear boards, and we encourage them to wipe them down in between their batches of work so that they're getting off all of the any dust, or sometimes when things are moist, you get some little bit of mold growing in there. You just wipe
yeah,
it down and make sure it doesn't accumulate. Um,
I had a moldy mug the other day.
your mug was moldy.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's okay.
it's fine.
It's fine.
There's even sometimes some bags of clay that have mold
Yeah,
if they sit for long enough, and it's not bad.
no.
It's gonna burn off in the kiln.
I've experienced that when I was doing clay at home.
Yeah.
My clay would get moldy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fine.
and I thought it was fine too. I was like,
I've also heard that it increases the plasticity.
No.
Yeah,
Wait, are you
I
serious?
heard it somewhere. I don't know if it's true.
Well, maybe.
But yeah.
Should we segue into what else creates
Yes.
plasticity in clay?
Yes. So, another section of the studio that needs to be frequently cleaned is our reclaim area.
Yeah. Not only cleans, but like we're working in that area a lot
Mhm.
because we go through a lot of clay
A lot.
and it's just it's constant.
Mhm.
It takes us a long time to make the clay and then it's gone in one day.
Mhm. I know. Well, like we've got these plaster um
Tables.
tables and they're like big. They're 10 by 4 or
Yeah.
something. They're huge. And we lay out all the clay, all the slop. It dries up. We put it in our pug mill, which we're very gracious to have.
Hmm.
And then it gets recycled, it gets pugged, and that clay is gone so fast.
It goes so fast
Because everybody loves the pugged
because it's
clay.
so soft and buttery.
And I wonder why that is. Well, we'll tell you. So, reclaim. In the reclaim area, we have a big trash can, and it's where we dump our buckets. So everything goes in there, your slop water, the clay bits, small clay bits. And since you're throwing, you get some
Your skin cells are in there too.
your skin cells are in there. So when the clay is being reclaimed and recycled, you have to use some of that old throwing water because that's where the tiny particles of clay are to keep the recycled clay plastic. And you might be asking, what's plastic? What does that mean?
When clay is in a plastic state, it means that it's really workable. It's workable clay. Like it's really soft, it's malleable. You can fold it, you can pull it, like you can really work with it.
It makes it so it's just kind of easier to center and it just moves better.
Yeah.
And the plasticity of the clay, it's just very moldable. It's great.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the clay remembers also and how
Yes,
that ties into its plasticity,
absolutely.
because it's retaining the
Mhm.
shape.
Yes, it's ready to
Like
be.
when you take something off the wheel and you put it on a bat and it gets a little wonky, if you just kind of like run your finger around the rim, like it bounces back into its original shape. And I couldn't do it without the skin cells.
Yes, the skin cells in your throwing water.
So gross.
It's so gross, but it adds to the plasticity of the clay. It
Do we
like,
know that for a fact? This
yes,
is like factual information.
I read it somewhere.
Okay.
It's I don't know if it's so much the skin cells themselves, but like the tiny, tiny particles in the throwing water
Okay.
make it super plastic
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And with that comes skin cells. So yeah,
For sure.
they
Yeah.
gotta be helping.
They gotta be.
Well, because like the mold helps too. So if you think about it, it's like organic.
Yeah.
Like I guess like this some sort of like organic compound is like helping to like make it more plastic.
It's
At
really
least that's what I
interesting.
believe.
I like the idea of it. I like the idea of, as gross as it is, I like the idea of this like communal clay being able to be reshaped
Mhm.
and recycled over and over and over again, and that it just
Yeah.
has this long life, you
I
know?
also read about um there are some like pottery like studios or communities like in other countries. Like specifically I was reading about like China and like they've been doing pottery for generations and generations that like the clay that they're using has been like the same clay that they've been reclaiming for like
Ah.
generations and generations. Isn't
Wow.
that crazy?
See? Like, it's just it's amazing.
Clay is magical.
It's
It really
so
is.
it's such an old soul. I don't know, there's so much
Oh,
story. Like, there's so much story in the clay.
yes.
Yeah.
And like the history
Yeah.
behind the clay,
Mhm.
like humans have been using clay for hundreds of thousands of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And, they used it to create art, but they also used it functionally, which
Mhm.
I love. I love functional pottery.
Yes, you do.
So I think it's really cool that, back in the day, they would use it for, you know, keeping food, what's it called when you
Preserved.
preserved,
Mhm.
preserving food, like making food, um, preserving other things, I suppose. Canopic jars from Egypt, preserving or
Ooh.
putting organs in them. Yeah,
Ooh.
and then,
Yeah.
like, in Native American culture, they would use clay to, like, build homes and houses and keep
Furniture.
out the furniture and
Can
keep
we
out the
talk about
heat. What are some other challenges that we run into when running, a studio?
well, I think just making sure that everyone is happy,
Yes.
and that everyone is feeling taken care of. I'm thinking
Right,
about uh well, the cleanliness thing is real. Like, I never want some students or members to feel like, oh well, I always clean up and then I always walk in and there's
right.
something there. Like,
Yeah.
that's shitty. We haven't had any complaints like that though,
No,
to my knowledge.
no, I don't think so,
Yeah.
no. But
But
I
then
do notice when things are left dirty and, like, it it upsets me,
yeah,
um, because there's kind of, like, a little bit of disrespect there, like, not only
100%.
for, like, the tools and the equipment that you're using and, like, you can't take the extra time to clean it, like, that just kind of really gets under my skin, but
Mhm.
also, like, respect your community members who
Right.
are gonna use it after you.
Yeah.
Um, so that's another reason why the whole cleanliness thing is so important.
It
It's
is.
it's a level of respect. You respect your studio, you respect the people who run the studio,
Right.
and your fellow members.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess another challenge that we have is, like, makeup classes,
Makeup
you
classes
know?
are really hard. Um, I feel like a lot of other studios, their, like, model is, like, a little bit different. Like, their member student model is a little different.
Mm,
So they either don't offer makeup classes because instead they offer, like, open studio,
okay.
or they just don't offer makeup classes.
Hmm.
And, we do offer makeup classes
Yeah.
because I think that's important. Life happens.
Yeah, life happens. That's really shitty if, you can't make up a class. We want
Yeah.
you to be able to make up a class.
Yeah. So we offer one makeup class, and if it's early on in the session, usually we can just stick a student in another class, because most of our classes happen, like, at the same time. Like, the 6-week sessions are going on during the same weeks.
Yeah.
So usually we can stick people in another class, but every once in a while it gets hard when you're towards the end of the session. You can't really, like, make up the specific class that you missed
Right. Right. Like,
because
if you have to come back later and you missed a throwing day, like the
Mhm.
last throwing day,
Yeah.
you're gonna miss out on that because now you're gonna be popping in for glazing and things like that,
Yeah, it's
right?
hard. It's because of the kiln schedule.
The kiln schedule.
Yeah, which is another, like, really, I don't wanna say, like, "Oh, it's so hard," but, like, it is another factor.
Because there really is no schedule. The schedule is when there's enough pottery.
Exactly.
That's the schedule.
And I
So that makes it hard in itself though,
mhm,
because you really can't plan too much. I mean, we
mhm,
kind of go off of when classes are going to be finishing up,
mhm, yeah.
right? But
It's kinda like when the shelves are full, then it's time to fire.
mm,
But, like, if there's, a holiday going on
or
or
snow day.
snow day and people haven't been making as much, then it's not ready to fire because it's not full.
Yeah.
And we really only fire a full kiln. We don't
Yeah.
wanna waste resources or electricity or put, extra wear on the kiln parts. We want it to be a full fire.
Hmm. We've been doing pretty good though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love our kiln.
Galadriel.
Galadriel is the name of our kiln.
Here she is.
Here she is right here on the wall. We painted her on there.
Such a beaut.
We love her.
Mwah.
But yeah, we haven't talked about her.
No,
We
we
should talk
haven't.
about her.
You think?
Yeah,
She's amazing.
she is
She's an
amazing.
L&L baby.
She is.
She's a big girl.
She's huge.
Huge.
It
Like we need to essentially go in there
Yep.
head first.
At
We
first,
dive in.
she's got to be like 4'10".
No, she's
'Cause
got to be taller than that.
well, you're 5 foot.
I'm 5 foot. I feel like she's as tall as me.
Yeah, she's
Well,
about
maybe not. I guess like when she's on her like if the kiln is closed, it kind of comes up to like my chin.
yeah. So
Does it
like
really? Yeah, it must. Or even
yeah,
my nose.
yeah. I think
Yeah, so it's probably 4'10".
yeah. She's probably 4'10" ish.
Yeah. And her
Yeah,
legs aren't that big, so I mean
yeah.
like the inside is huge. She's big.
It's a really big kiln. We stand on a stool and we essentially fold at the hip and put our legs up in the air in order to reach the bottom.
It's true. Check out the Instagram, there's photos.
Yes, there's lots of photos. But she's a great size for the current size of our studio right now.
Yeah, we need it for all
Mm,
of our students and members.
I think in the future we could probably get a second kiln, but for right now she's a really good size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we absolutely will need another one in the future.
Oh yeah, because we're growing.
Growing.
We're growing like
Rapid
crazy.
speed.
We're about to have a wait list for memberships.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
because
wild.
we can only really take like a few more members before there has to be like a wait list.
Huh.
Yeah,
Imagine that. That's crazy.
it is.
Crazy.
But it's great
It
because
is great.
we're creating our community.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's amazing. I love that. It's very exciting. And to become a member at our studio, we require you to take 3 classes.
Yes.
And it's not even to like prove that you're good enough. It's really just to learn the flow of our studio
Hmm.
and learn kind of the ins and outs of the cleaning and the
Hmm.
cleanliness process,
Right.
of how we reclaim everything.
Hmm.
Um,
It's so much more than
it's
just like
it's
I
just
know how to throw.
right. Like it's really not about that at all,
Right.
honestly.
Hmm.
It's really about learning the flow of the studio and being able to respect that flow.
Hmm. Exactly.
That's what it's about, and
Yeah.
that's why we require 3 rounds of classes, so you really get into the flow of the flow.
Yeah. Exactly. Because yeah, I've had a lot of inquiries about like, oh, I saw your membership. I have experience throwing, and I'm like, that's great. I love that, but like, you gotta take a class with us, and we do have intermediate classes, so like, more than welcome.
But and also,
Hmm.
our class sizes are really small that even if an intermediate student was in a beginner class,
Yeah.
there's there's enough time. We do that on purpose so that everyone gets individualized attention.
Hmm.
So even when there is someone who's more advanced,
Hmm.
like there's time to cater to them
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Because we really, want to focus on that one-on-one time
Yeah.
with our students. So if like you're more intermediate or advanced and you're in a quote unquote beginner class, like we can definitely help
Yeah.
you out.
And vice versa too. Like in an intermediate class, if a beginner needs to make up a class and the intermediate session is the only session available, like the class is small enough that a beginner could pop in there,
Oh yeah, I've done that.
and there's going to be enough time for
Yeah.
them to have attention and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So I love our small class
Yeah.
sizes, and they're intimate, and it's about, and I think our class sizes also lead into our community building too,
Oh yeah.
because they're so small,
Yeah.
right? Like everyone really gets to know each other and they become friends. And a lot of the classes, they plan to do it again together.
Yep.
They're like, okay, gonna sign up again for the same time,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, they do. I
Like,
love that.
especially like Wednesday night, it's been the
Wednesday
same
night.
crew
I
forever.
had the same students in my Wednesday night intermediate class for going on like over 2 years now.
Wow, that's a
Like,
long
I
time.
know. Like Amanda, Nick. Amanda's been with me since the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
since the summer of 2022.
Two.
23, 24. So Amanda's going on 3 years of being in the Wednesday night class.
Oh my God.
And Nick came like 6 months after that. So like we're going on, whatever the math that is. He's been here a long time too. And then I've had Megan for a long time.
Okay. Nice.
It's just,
That's
yeah, it's
so
really
cool.
good.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a big deal. It says a lot about the vibe, that
Such
people want to continue and they want to they build relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so
And
cool.
then they're like, planning to go out to dinner together. Or they're planning to like,
Yeah.
oh, I heard about this thing. Let's go do it together. Like,
Yeah.
it's so nice.
So we have a lot of upcoming events, really
Mhm.
fun things. Um, in like 2 weeks, we have Valentine's Day, which we're dragging our husbands here.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be so fun.
So Blake and Aaron, we've decided, are gonna have a little date, and they're gonna make us something special
Yeah.
while we teach the workshop. I think it's perfect.
We're doing heart-shaped vessels. So it can be a box, it can be um
A
a
vase.
vase, a bowl, a mug, whatever you want it to be, and we'll make them heart-shaped and we will be using underglazes to decorate.
The same day?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
We're
didn't know
gonna
that.
we're
Okay.
gonna like add stuff to it or transfers because
Okay, cool.
the idea is that they don't have to come back.
And then after that, we have well, I think Raku comes first.
Yeah.
Raku comes first,
Yeah. April
which
12th.
is which is Katie's birthday.
Yeah.
So it's very special. And we have the Raku guy. What's his name?
Brett Thomas.
Brett Thomas.
Thomas. Brett
Thomas.
Thomas of Mobile Raku.
Yeah, he's
If
gonna
you
come.
don't know him, you should know
He's
him.
so cool.
He's amazing. He's a potter. He used to teach at like a university, and now that he's retired, he does this mobile raku, and he's going to be coming to us um, April 12th and bringing his two outdoor raku kilns.
So cool.
It's really cool.
It's really, really fun. Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't done it before.
It's really
It's
fun.
so cool. So that's exciting. That's coming up. And if you are interested, you absolutely can sign up for that as well.
You
I think
can.
we still have a few spots left. Um, and then we have a 420 event
We
coming
do.
up, which will be fun. We're gonna do like two parts, two different events really.
Yeah.
So we'll have a hand building version,
Mm.
and then we'll also have a throwing version.
It's gonna be
So
so
it's
cool.
gonna be great. It's gonna be fun.
I made some prototypes for the throwing
Yeah,
section
you
or
did, and
the
they're
throwing
awesome.
session, and they're really cool.
They're very fun. I tried, but it failed.
You were almost there.
I know.
You were almost there.
I'll try again.
But yeah, we're gonna throw a vessel in which you can put some herbs inside and inhale them.
Yes. What do the hobbits smoke? What is
Oh,
that?
what is it
What is that
called?
flower called or plant?
I forget. I should know this.
You should know
It makes me
this.
mad that I don't know this. It's like on the tip of my tongue though.
I should know it
It's
too
the
because we talked about it on Friday.
right. I'm gonna look that up later because I should know this.
But we're gonna get some of that.
Yes. Whatever Gandalf has got in whatever he's rocking in his pipe, that's what we're gonna put in our
Take me with you,
vessels.
Gandalf.
Yes.
I love Gandalf.
Love him too.
He's so cool.
It's kind of sexy.
Sexy Gandalf?
Yeah. Big naturals Gandalf.
What? What did you say?
Have you seen that meme? Oh, Big naturals Gandalf.
Oh.
It's like Gandalf with big tits.
What?
Yes.
I have not seen
You
this.
gotta Google it right now
Right now?
so that we can get your live reaction.
Gandalf Naturals? What
Yeah.
is it called? Yeah,
I
that?
think it's big naturals.
Gandalf Big Naturals?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
See it?
Why though? Like, I have never seen this before.
It's amazing.
I love it. Wow.
It's a
So
big
during the
joke.
pandemic, when you were dressing up as Gandalf, were you going for this?
No, I was just dressing up as regular Gandalf. There's a lot of videos on my Google Drive of me dressed as Gandalf reciting things.
Like,
Did I send you that?
no, but I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, look at these old videos. I also saw the one of you playing with the purple lifesaver in your
Oh, yeah,
backyard.
that was a good
I
one.
like that one.
Yeah.
We're gonna do 90s night,
90s
everybody.
night.
90s night. And specifically, we're talking about Furbies.
Furbies.
We're talking about Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
We're talking about cassette tapes and Walkman
And
and
Tamagotchis.
Tamagotchis.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
There's so many good 90s things. Pogs.
S-
Did you have
Yes.
Pogs? I did
Yes.
too. I wonder where they went.
Wow, I
I know.
totally forgot about those.
Yeah.
What did you do with them? I don't even remember. I feel like I just collected
You just
them.
collected them. They were just pieces of cardboard that you collected. Kinda
I
like
feel
Magic the
like,
Gathering cards.
wow, look at that. I had a lot.
I had a lot too.
I loved it.
I had them
I
in a
feel
binder.
like the 90s was about collecting things.
Gotta catch 'em
Gotta
all.
catch them all.
Get a couple Furbies. Collect the bananas. Collect the coins. Yeah, it was. It
Yes,
was like
everything's
collect.
collecting. I wonder if, like, across the board, millennials just like to collect stuff.
It's gotta be a thing.
I wonder if that's a thing.
Because we do. We do. We love collecting stuff.
I'm trying to think what I collect currently. Well, one collection that I have are my
Your
eggs.
eggs. I went into Rebecca's studio at her house and I was like, "What are those eggs?"
My friend, my friend Nicole,
Yeah,
she thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
it is funny.
It's, it's really awesome. I love them.
They're cool. Don't get me wrong.
They're really cool. They're some of them are ceramic, but a lot of them are like stones and
Nice.
crystals.
Which is also like a whole nother collection
Whole
that
nother
people
collection.
do.
Yeah, I do have a lot of crystals
Yeah,
and stones.
that's like a thing with our generation too. Like we love
I'm
crystals.
definitely a crystal girl.
Oh yeah. Are we crazy? Hell yeah, brother.
It's true. 100%.
But you know what? You have to be a little bit crazy to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're sitting at home, you're listening to this podcast, and you're like, wow, I would love to open a pottery studio. You know what I have to say to you?
Are you crazy enough?
Godspeed. Yes,
Yeah.
are you crazy enough?
Get your crazy pants on.
Yeah, I encourage it and I recommend it, but you gotta be a little crazy. So if you're not a little crazy, just go join a studio. But if you're a little crazy, maybe you can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Rebecca, who is our question of the day from?
So Lazy Lizard 09 wants to know what the difference between earthenware, stoneware, and porcelain
Oh,
is.
buckle up, baby. Thanks, Lazy Lizard. That's a really good
It's a
question.
really good question.
Well, there's a
There's a
lot
lot
to
of differences.
there's a lot to unpack there.
But for one, I think firing temperatures and
Absolutely.
durability factor
Absolutely.
is probably the top of mind that comes
Mhm.
for me.
So,
And I don't know much about porcelain, actually.
I know a little bit, but not enough.
All I
Um,
know about porcelain is what they do on the Great British Pottery Throwdown.
well, earthenware
Yeah.
is a low fire clay. So it fires at a, lower temperature. And it's the clay that kind of mostly like is most closely related to wild clay,
Yeah.
which is what they, used to use back in the day. Um, and so,
But it's not as durable as a stoneware.
why is that?
Chemistry.
Yes. And it tends to absorb water.
What's that word called? The
Vitrification,
vitrification to
vitrify.
vitrify. So like earthenware doesn't vitrify. It's never vitrified.
It's never fully vitrified.
Right.
And I guess one can argue that sometimes stoneware isn't fully vitrified because there's like an absorption rate still, but it's like so low compared to the absorption rate on earthenware clay.
Right. Like earthenware, something that's earthenware, you probably shouldn't put it in the dishwasher.
Correct.
You probably shouldn't have it submerged in water
Or I wouldn't put it in the microwave either.
or the microwave. Right.
I just wouldn't use it for functional items,
Right.
actually.
But it's great for decorative things or like little tiny sculptures.
Yes.
I mean, now I'm a stoneware girl.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I definitely have a lot of stuff that I did in earthenware, but it was because I didn't have access to high fire.
Yeah.
So,
Now you do. And stoneware
yes.
fires at a higher temperature and has a lower absorption rate when fully vitrified.
Hmm.
And because of that, it's perfect for functional pottery and dinnerware and, drinkware and things like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it can go in the dishwasher.
And the microwave.
Suave. Now, porcelain.
Yeah, tell me about porcelain. I know, I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong. It's really soft and
Yes,
it's really fragile.
it is. So,
And why would you use porcelain?
okay. So,
Because, like, yeah, go for it.
the thing that's crazy about porcelain,
Easy.
crazy, is that it's actually one of the strongest clays. Yeah,
Wait, are you serious?
yeah. It's actually one of the strongest clays. Now, don't ask me about the science behind it, but that's what I have read in my studies.
The same studies that include skin cells.
Yes.
I believe it all.
No, but for real, that's why people work with porcelain is because it is one of the strongest clay bodies
So why am I thinking that it's fragile?
because it is hard to work with. It's
Ah.
it is fragile in the sense that while you're making, it's very finicky. It cracks all the time. It dries really fast, and if you don't take care of it while it's drying, you're gonna get cracks. So now, but the
Hmm.
Flip side of that is not only is it a very strong clay, it's a very light clay, like
Mhm.
weight wise, I think. And because of its properties, you can it's kind of if it's thin enough, it's translucent. So a lot of
Wow.
people make like, you know, light fixtures or things that you can kind of see light, you can see the
Or
light
like
through the clay.
jewelry. I feel like
Yes.
jewelry is a big
Yes.
porcelain item.
Now, people who are making like throwing with porcelain to make functional items, I don't know what you're doing. You're torturing yourself. You're a masochist because it cracks so easily. You will not find me throwing with porcelain.
And we don't even have it in the studio.
No.
Well, there's no reason for us to have it right now.
No,
No.
there's not. Also, it is more expensive.
Yeah.
And like there's really not a reason to like use it in your everyday work, at least at a studio like this. But now if you as an artist were like, "Well, I use porcelain." Well, that's part of your brand and that's you. You do you.
Mhm.
Couldn't be me.
I mean, you said light fixture, and I'm like, ah,
Yeah, like
but also no fucking way, dude.
it's a hard
That
clay
sounds,
body to work with.
yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll
And
make sculptures instead.
that's why I said though that Kentucky Mud Works, the brown bear clay,
Mm,
it's a stoneware. It's a black stoneware, but it kind of behaves like porcelain in the sense that it's very finicky. It cracks. I get cracks when I use that clay.
the black clay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is
And
it called? It's black bear?
it's
What'd you say?
called brown bear.
Brown bear.
It's called brown bear, but
Okay.
I always get cracks when I use that clay.
Yeah, well, when I worked with it a little, I was noticing that too.
But like I never get cracks.
I don't usually get cracks either.
And like that cracked on me and I was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
But it's a beautiful clay.
it's amazing, and I do want to buy it again.
Oh, I wanted to I didn't order it, but I wanted to.
I know.
It's a little
I
expensive,
know it's more expensive.
but
Well, we have to we'll plan for it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Well, thanks, Lazy Lizard. That
Yeah,
was a
that was
really
a
great question.
really good question.
Yeah.
Lazy lizard?
So, Rebecca, do we have another question?
Yes, we do. It's Jelly Bean 42.
Jelly bean 42.
I want to know Jelly Bean's favorite flavor jelly bean also.
Oof. Oof.
Do you have a favorite jelly bean flavor? Do you like jelly beans?
I do like jelly beans, but I'm basic. I like the
Like
green
cherry?
ones.
Green?
Yeah.
Like sour apple?
Yeah.
I feel like I like cherry. Although there's like a toasted marshmallow one.
Oh,
I think that one's really fun.
oh, that's fancy.
It's fancy. It's like a white jelly bean and it's got brown speckles.
I'm gonna try that.
It's very cute. Yeah,
I'll try that one
it's
next
nice.
time.
Anyway, Jellybean 42 wants to know what are some ways to decorate a ceramic piece before you glaze it?
Okay. Like before it's fired.
I'm thinking like before you like I'm thinking what yeah, I'm thinking before it's fired. Either
Okay.
greenware decoration or even well, yeah, it would have to be greenware.
Yeah. Well, I know that one of the things that I would like to get more into is just attaching in general. Like
Mhm.
attaching, I love handles. I'm a big handle girly. So I think a good way to improve your pot, improve its form, give it its, improve its profile, adding attachments. That could be handles. It could be one handle, it could be two handles, it could be three handles, four handles, however many handles you want. But it could also be like attaching like sculptural elements to the clay. Like even if you just added a coil and
Mm,
blended the coil in around the pot, that's a sculptural element.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be
a thing.
yeah, like, oh, I'm gonna sculpt a dog on
No,
this.
it could be
Like it could
abstract.
be abstract. Mhm.
Well, I'm very into carving right now. Really
Yes.
like carving. Talked about that tool that I like.
Yeah.
Still don't know what it's called, but that's okay.
It's okay.
But that's a way to decorate as well. And then
Mhm.
you can inlay with underglaze.
I love
which
inlaying.
is really cool.
There's so much you can do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I also really want to experiment more with like slip trailing.
Yeah, me too.
And you can use it to like create something, like create like a what is it, a relief when it's popped out?
Ooh,
I
I
should
don't
know this.
know. Want to pop like an applique?
Yeah, like when you do like a relief carving, doesn't it mean that it's like outwards? Whatever.
I
We
really
didn't go
don't
to art
know.
school.
Yeah,
We
I
didn't go
don't
to art
know.
school. Well, you can make like a 3D thing on your piece with slip trailing, and it can be like, a bug or a face or whatever. But you can also use the slip to create like dots or lines
Hmm.
that you can then put your glaze situate your glaze just above those slip trailed areas so that it can break over that texture.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to try that.
Yeah, that's what I've been
Mm.
like thinking about. And I told Karen about that too.
Yeah,
Because I feel like that's the
Karen.
stage that she's at right
She's gonna make cool stuff
now. Oh yeah.
because she's so good at glazes.
Yeah.
And if it breaks over texture,
Mm-hmm.
now, so I haven't done any slip trailing, and I'm thinking about it. And how do you prevent the slip from not cracking?
Mm.
Is that something that happens?
I think it's something that can definitely happen. It happens a lot. Um, I don't know. I think slow drying,
Slow drying.
very slow
And
drying.
maybe it has something to do with the thickness also, like how
Yeah.
thick you apply it.
Yeah, I think the thickness of the slip for sure.
Because I'm also thinking of Mel's owl bears, and her slip trails are so thin and delicate,
Hmm.
and she hasn't gotten any cracking. They're amazing.
Oh, well then, yeah, maybe that's the trick.
But and I haven't tried it, but I'm thinking about like when I have used slip as attaching, like for attaching things in the past,
Yeah.
I think all that extra moisture creates a lot of cracking.
So yeah, maybe it
And I
can't be too
stopped
thick.
using like slip, extra slip. I stopped doing that
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. Because, like, when I teach handles and attaching handles,
Yeah,
the number one rule is slip and score. But,
right.
like,
But like the slip is so minimal.
yeah, we score with a wet tool, and that creates just the
Yeah.
amount of quote unquote slip that you need to
Okay.
attach. I
Yeah.
think adding slip to like
Right.
having like a cup of slip and like adding it, I think that's too
It's too
much.
much. It's too much, which
Mm,
is crazy,
crazy.
crazy. Because like I'm thinking back to high school ceramics and like that's what we're taught. Like you
Yeah.
were taught to add the slip,
Slip and score,
right?
slip and
But
score.
when I teach now, it's use a wet tool, but then you can add water too.
Yeah.
Like add water to the score marks. That's what we do
Yes. Yes.
with
I
like a
like that.
paintbrush or your finger.
I love
And
it.
it is. It's just the tiniest bit.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So I don't know. Slip trailing is interesting.
Yeah. It's something I want to experiment more with for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Jelly Bean.
Thanks, Jelly Bee.
Amazing. I think that brings us to today's food review.
Yes. So for all you South Jersey, Philly area people, we've got another great recommendation for you today.
It's Cloud9 tea. Cloud9 bubble tea.
We
Um,
love Cloud9.
Cloud9 is also in our shopping center.
Yes,
It's the coolest shopping
it
center.
is.
Got so many things. But they are lovely. The owners are lovely.
Mhm.
Shout out to Kempy and Sunny.
Mhm.
Kempy and Sunny, we love you guys.
And Jaden.
And their son Jaden, who is often there working in the
He
shop.
is working hard.
Working hard. But they make really good tea. And Kempy will tell you herself
Mhm.
that they have a special way to make the tea that I don't fully completely understand.
It's like a
But they
traditional method.
yeah, like she says that they don't like cook it like the same. Like,
Yeah.
they don't brew it the same way,
Yeah.
and it's a longer process, so it's fresher.
Yeah.
Um, she tries to explain it to me every time, but I it's so complicated.
But their tea is
But it's
delicious.
so good and it tastes so fresh and, like, I really like the jasmine green tea with no sugar
Yeah.
and black boba, and you can taste the jasmine in it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I also really like their jasmine green tea, and sometimes I get it, with mango, and then I get the lychee jellies, but I like 50% sugar. I like 50% sugar, and their black tea is really good as well.
So is their oolong.
It's just so good.
All of it is so good.
You gotta go, and in the future, we're hoping to, like, work out, like, a little, like, maybe discount code or something with them. But for now, you should just go and support them because they're lovely people and they have amazing tea.
Mhm, mhm. Mm. And Kempty makes snacks,
Yes, that's right.
homemade snacks.
If you go after 5 p.m. on a weekday, or if you go on a weekend all day, they have snacks.
Yeah.
And
It's like dumplings and, like, little mini egg rolls,
yes,
right?
and she makes them
And she makes them all herself,
homemade.
homemade. It's so good.
It's amazing.
It's so good,
And it's supporting another small local business.
which we love.
We love that.
Yeah.
So next time you're at Hug Ceramics, stop on by Cloud9.
Yeah. And our members and students love it. Like, a lot of people come into class with, like, their Cloud9 tea.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's really cute.
And we go there to like take a little break.
Yeah, it's a nice little stroll.
I drank mine so fast that right now mine is just water
It's
in the
okay.
Cloud9 cup, but I drank it all earlier.
Thanks. Because it's so good.
It is so good.
It's so good. And I like the no sugar, but Sunny thinks it's crazy.
Yes.
He says, "No sugar? That's crazy." So be sure to like us and follow us and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's all the Kiln Garage. And our email is thekilngarage@gmail.com.
We also now have a Patreon.
And we have a Patreon.
So if you'd like to, you can support us through our Patreon. We have only one tier right now, but we might add another one.
What is the tier right now?
Right now, it's a $5 tier, and you get access to exclusive content, mostly like bloopers and maybe
Personal things.
personal things, like some things that are not making it into the actual podcast, but they're still kind of funny. So we are going to put them up on our Patreon.
Like what happens in Katie's dreams.
Yes, you can find out what happens in my dream if you subscribe to our Patreon.
It's great. Yeah. But we're going to have other stuff too. It's good.
And we go,
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks.
thanks for